Hey everyone, Max here, welcome back to my channel, and this is the Ibanez RG421HPFM detailed review part 2. I assume you have already watched the first part. If you haven't, there's a link somewhere in that corner. Go there and watch that video first, because all the facts are in that video. In this one, I'll give you a few more little details about this guitar, and I'll go into my personal opinion about this instrument, about my feelings, about my first impression, and stuff like that. And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to my Instagram yet, I'd really appreciate if you do. That's where you can find beautiful close-ups of guitars, quick shootouts and demos on many different things, as well as regular updates on what's going on here and what I'm currently working on. Alright, now back to the video. Here's the list of guitars I reviewed so far and penalty points they received. This guitar has got 5 points, which is, I should say, on a good side. One of those points was for a random issue, the finish issue right here, so it could even be 4, which is even better. And again, this list doesn't tell you that a certain guitar is better or worse than other guitars on the list. It just says that some guitars may have slightly more unexpected little things than the others. If you go to Ibanez website and search for RG421, you'll find 9 different guitars, and yes, they all are actually different. The 3 guitars on the top belong to the high performance series. At Thomann, prices on the 421 model vary from 325 euros to 824 euros, which is more than twice as much. So what's the difference? What could possibly cause such a huge difference in price? Well, all these guitars kind of follow the same concept, the same body shape, no locking tuners, 24 frets, 2 humbuckers, the same F106 fixed bridge, and 2 knobs. But this is where similarities end. Some of these guitars have a 3-way pickup switch, others come with a 5-way switch. Different pickups, different body tone wood, different fretboards, and even finish. Some are satin, others are glossy. The idea is that high-performance series instruments have better components than other 421 guitars. Better tone wood, roasted maple neck, branded pickups, and sometimes more tone options. And you might have noticed no pickup frames. In other words, high-performance series guitars are still kinda basic, but at the same time are no longer such mod platforms as more affordable 421 models are. These are ready to go right away. Do you remember that offset funnel for the 6th string? My first reaction was, well, it probably should not be like that. So again, I went to Ibanez.com to check what it is supposed to look like, and guess what? These pictures are telling me that it probably should not be like that. I've double-checked it with Thomann, but apparently they just used the same pictures from the official website. Finally, at Sweetwater, I found photos of a real instrument, and these are telling me that, well, probably the funnel is supposed to be offset. So I've called Dan from Ibanez, and he told me that, yeah, the funnel is supposed to be offset. Which kinda makes sense, because very often the length of the 6th string will be set slightly longer than for the rest of the strings to keep it properly intonated. And as you can see, even the hole in the bass plate has a different shape to be able to accommodate a slightly longer string. So the offset funnel is not a bug, but an innovative thinking. What is the total length of this guitar? Well, let's find out. It is 98 centimeters or 3 feet 2 and 5/16, which is slightly shorter than a Stratocaster, which means this guitar will fit in any gig bag or hard case. What is the tuning machine's gear ratio? Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. It is 18:1. The pickups, DiMarzio Air Norton and the Tone Zone, and I was kinda surprised to find out that both pickups on this guitar are F-spaced, because usually there's a standard-sized pickup in the neck position, but here we have 51mm between the pole pieces, the same as for the bridge pickup, so both of these are F-spaced. Surprise, surprise. Actually, it would make more sense to have a standard-sized pickup in the neck. In terms of the resistance, these two pickups have 16.8K in the bridge, or 9K when split. You see they are asymmetrical, because that is more than 50%. And for the neck pickup, it's going to be 12.3K or 7K when split. Again, that is more than 50% of the original value, which is very close to what we see at the DiMarzio's website. The official specs say it's 12.6 for AR Norton and 17.3 for the tone zone. As always, these readings may vary from one pickup to another. They all are slightly different, so don't worry if your pickups have slightly different resistances than what you see here. And in case you've missed that in the first part of this video, whenever coil split is active, inner coils are used, outer coils are disabled. For example, now we have a full breech humbucker. Now only its inner coil, both pickups, inner coils, and neck pickup, inner coil, and finally the full neck pickup. I already had some experience with the tone zone and AR Norton when last year I reviewed this guitar, the RG1070 PBZ, and back then I didn't like these pickups at all because of the amount of hum they produced. With this guitar, they still have the same amount of hum, but for some reason they sound brighter. And because of the coil split, you can get some specific tones out of this guitar which are impossible with the RG1070 PBZ. So, while in my opinion these two pickups kinda suck with that guitar, with this one they shine. They sound better with this tone wood, which is Niato versus basswood. They show their full potential because of the coil split and make the guitar more versatile, and I kinda even like them now. How tight are the knobs? Well, they are kind of tight and there isn't much grip, so if you want to do this, it may actually be harder than you would expect. Now, what do I think about this guitar? Well, it was some sort of a surprise to me, because I didn't pick this one. Ibanez sent me 3 guitars, I picked 2 of them, and about the third one I just said, send me something random, surprise me. And surprise worked, because I would never pick this kind of guitar myself. Gold hardware? That's a huge deal breaker for me. So I absolutely didn't see it coming, and when I played this guitar for the first time, I was impressed and I really enjoyed it. In a way, it reminds me of my 1987 RG550. The build quality of today's Indonesian guitars is somewhat similar to Japanese guitars of the late 80s. This guitar has no volute, just like guitars from the 80s, but I prefer it this way. It is old school, but I kinda like it. It's kinda basic, but at the same time it has pretty much everything I need. Well, no tremolo here, but yeah, it is a fixed bridge guitar, which at the same time means that I always can easily go down to drop D and back without resetting the whole tremolo, and as a result, today I play much more in drop D than I did before, and I really enjoy that. And the weight of this guitar, below 3 kilos, is just phenomenal. So I'm really happy that I got to play this guitar because, as I said, I would never pick it myself. Where would I place this guitar on a scale between a Strat and a Les Paul? Probably somewhere in the middle, maybe slightly on the Strat side. I'll tell you what, I'll just play the same riff on this guitar, on my American Strat and on a Les Paul kind of guitar, and you tell me where would you place it. Agree or disagree with me in the comments below. As always, for all sound examples, I used my favorite impulse response, which is a 1x12 speaker cab with a vintage 30 speaker inside. If you like the sound, you can, and I believe you should, grab the whole impulse pack at my website, link below. So you can make this guitar sound thin and bright, or if you want to, fat and mellow. Which brings me to the next question: is this guitar versatile? Well, I believe it is. And even though it only has 6 available sounds, it can cover many different styles, although it could be even more versatile if it had a tremolo. Can I imagine myself playing a gig with this guitar? Well, usually I need a tremolo for the stuff I do, but other than that, yeah, I could play a gig with this guitar, and I believe it would even survive the gig without any problems, although it would probably need some tuning from time to time. What would I change in this guitar if I were you? Well, first of all, I would use one of those string dampers that you could see in my noise mechanics video to get rid of the harp at the headstock. Yep, that's much better. And maybe I would go for lock-in tuners for better tuning stability. Here's what the damper looks like up close, and I'll give you a link to it in the description below. What would I change in this guitar for myself personally? Well, a few things. I wouldn't touch the pickups because I'm pretty happy with how they perform in this guitar. I would go for my favorite strap lock buttons to make this guitar compatible with all my straps. I would install a treble bleed circuit, because there isn't any in this guitar, and I would swap this 3-way switch versus a 5-way Dynamics 10 switch that you can find in RG1120 PBZ guitars, because that one gives 10 different sound options. Or I would just get a 5-way switch and mod it such as it works as a Dynamics 10 switch. It's pretty simple, you can do it yourself. And we also have some space for push-pull pots in this guitar, which I would definitely use. I don't know what for, maybe like phase switching or series, parallel modes. I would come up with something for sure. Speaking of the setup, this guitar is very easy to set up. You only need one Allen wrench, which is included, to set the string height, and a Phillips screwdriver to set the scale. And I would say that from this perspective, this guitar is very beginner-friendly. Right now, the action is set pretty low, but there is still plenty of room for adjustments, and at the same time, the adjustment screws don't stick out of the saddles and won't scratch your hand. For the sake of the experiment, I've set the action on the first string as low as approximately 1.2 mm, and pretty much the same on the 6th string, and there is no fret buzz, it's all good. On the first fret though, strings could be lower. This is pretty high, I would say. Okay, I think that's it for now. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next video. Hey, you've reached the end of the video, and I really appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually want to get to know you guys, so before you go, please leave me a comment below, just, say where you're from, what's your favorite guitar or guitar pedal, and how you came across my channel. If you want to support what I do, there's Patreon, and other than that, thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video someday soon.